gonna cut poblano peppers. I have about 7, and you can cut them in about half. That's about the length that I like to use. And then to get the most out of the whole pepper, I like to cut it about right here, close to the stem. And see how this falls when you do that. And then I will also cut this. That way you don't waste any pepper. And then this, I just like to go here with it, and the whole thing just comes out. Next, you will cut them. So I cut the pepper in half. Next, you will just cut it like this. And what I do is just cut it in thin slices. And you can use whatever knife you like, but I like to use this one personally. For this half, all I do is go straight down the middle, and then also cut it in thin slices. You can use less peppers. See, and you get the slices about this thick. You can use less peppers, but this is a meal that we will eat on for days because it's really good on top of sopes, of maseca, tortillas, burritos. There's a million different things you can do with this. They're really good reheated. So this equals 1 bell pepper. Okay, I usually do 1 jalapeno per 2 poblano peppers. And the way I cut this, I just do this on the end. I cut it in half, and I will do strips of it. And it's easy to differentiate between this and the poblano peppers once they're cooked. I will put this in the pan where the poblano peppers are. Once the oil is warm, you want to add all the peppers, and I add all the jalapenos, but you can easily tell the difference between the poblano peppers and the jalapenos when you're eating. I'll go ahead and cut all 4 of my jalapeno peppers, and then you just got to stir this constantly until they become soft and they have cooked thoroughly. I will also season them with seasoned salt, and I will cover them up. Okay, so these have been on the pan for about 5 minutes. I have stirred them about once, and I like to season with Lawry seasoned salt. I don't really measure the salt because a lot of the times depends on the pepper. So I will be generous with the seasoning at first. I pretty much cover all the tops of it, and then just stir it all over. And then as needed, I might have to add a little more seasoning, but most of the time I don't. So I'll leave that up to you as to how much salt you want to add or seasoning here. I would just stick with regular salt, or I'm a big fan of Lawry seasoned salt. And then I'm going to cover them up again and let this simmer and stir occasionally so they don't stick to the pan. And once they are soft, or getting close to being soft, I will add the rest of the veggies. Okay, I'm using 2 tomatoes. Usually per every 3 or 4 poblano peppers, I like to use 1 tomato. How I like to cut them, I like to cut that off. So I just cut that, and then I don't waste anything, so I'll use that. I like to cut it in half, and then I'll cut it across, and then these will be the size that I'm going to cut it in just thin slices. Okay, this is the size that I like to cut the tomato. So you're going to do that with both tomatoes. Okay, next, the onion. I have a very large onion here. Well, it's as big as the palm of my hand. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use about 1/4 of it and I'm gonna cut it downward like this, and you'll see why. I'm generous with the onion. If you cut it like this, then all you gotta do is slice it out. Okay, here's the aftermath for cutting the onion that way. You do it that way, you want to slice it. Once you put it in the pan, it's just already ready to go with the slices. So I don't have to do this here, but I am, just to show you how much onion comes out of that. I like a lot of onion. We like a lot of onion. But that was about 1/4 of that big onion. So see, in comparison to the tomato, it's a little bit more if you're comparing them. And now we're going to add this to our pepper. These have been cooking for about 15 minutes and they're really soft now. And these ones are a little spicy. So I'm going to add the onion and the tomatoes to this and add a little more seasoning and just stir it and cook it for a few minutes longer until the onions are soft. Okay, this is what the poblano peppers and the veggies look. These have been cooking for about 7-8 minutes. You can tell, they're really soft now. So next we're going to beat about 3 eggs. I like to do 1 egg for about 2 or 3 poblano peppers. So I'm going to beat 3 eggs and lightly salting them, and I like to use a spoon. You can use a fork or whatever you would like. You don't have to beat them for very long. And then I'm just going to pour it all over this and let those cook for about 4 or 5 minutes. Alright, you guys, here I have 3 eggs, and I'm just going to pour it all over. I like to beat them with a spoon because I like to use this spoon to stir this some more. You just stir them. So pretty much every single pepper slice and veggie slice is covered with egg, and this is so good. This is good for breakfast burritos, for lunch burritos, for dinner. Okay, so see how everything's covered with the egg? So now you're just going to let it cook for about 4 minutes or so, however long you like to cook your eggs for. In the meantime, if you're going to shred your cheese, go ahead and shred it while this is cooking. If not, I'll show you what I do with my cheese. Okay, see how there is a lot less in the pan now that everything's cooked. Everything has simmered. The egg is cooked. Now, all I do, I have queso fresco. I just crumble it up with my hands. Now, you can shred cheese or you can just crumble up the cheese. I prefer the homemade Mexican cheese or queso Oaxaca, queso fresco. And I crumble up enough cheese to cover up pretty much the whole entire top. And at this point, I have turned off the heat, and I'm just going to let the cheese sit here until it is melted. I might stir it once, but you can cover up the pan, and this is ready for you to eat. Whenever you serve it, the cheese will be stringy and delicious.